Hey guys, it's Katie Taylor at scrapandkatie.com, where I show you how to preserve your family's memories through the art of scrapbooking. For today's sketch for Christy's Beautiful Life Series 10, I'm actually using a sketch that I was able to design for this series. Here's a look at the sketch, again, by me. And I just want to walk you through some of the things that I really like, which are the banners, the journaling all around the edge, and then those shapes for the photo mat. So to make this easy, I am pulling out the Crisp Air scrapbooking kit, and I'm going to be using those scallops for my shapes. So let's take a look at this Crisp Air right quick. Now, this is no longer available. When I actually made this layout back in July, this was one of my favorite paper collections, but it quickly sold out because everyone loved it as much as I do. Take a look at those stickers. We even have options for you non-US people if you want to spell colorful. There were exclusive die cuts in this kit. And then you get all the photo placeholders as well as the gorgeous paper collection. So there's 6 pieces of paper and each one is double-sided. So here's a look at those 2-sided paper collections. And then you also get some exclusive papers and die cuts. So here's a look at one of those die cut sheets and it tells you for which layout it is. Now that is if you are using the kit as intended. Of course, I'm going to just kind of piecemeal this right quick, again, using those scallops for the sketch, and then just try and see if I can make this work. So I have taken those scallop borders and punched them all out. And then on my sketch, I had this little frame. This is actually what's left over from this die cut sheet. I thought it would be perfect just to adhere it to a plain sheet of White Daisy cardstock. Because it's so thin, I am going to use liquid adhesive, and it's best to put the liquid adhesive on the layout base. And then I usually wrap my arms inside. That way I don't have anything go down onto my layout base until I'm ready for it. That's just one of those tips after years and years of thinking that I can get it done, knowing that I cannot. So I am going to pull out one of the exclusive pattern papers from the workshop. All of our workshops either come with an exclusive stamp set or an exclusive pattern paper. This one is no different. It's kind of a creamy color. I know you can't really tell in the video, but hopefully you'll be able to tell in the still shots at the end of this video. So I just trimmed that down, adhered that to my base page, and then I am going to take some Sundance ink and add some ink all around the edges of this layout. You guys know I love this technique. It just kind of adds a softness to the layout as well as hides the white core. Now, as far as the center of this layout, this gorgeous leaf pattern, again from the Crisp Air, I'll leave measurements down to everything down below. And then the opposite side is this lovely paprika. It's almost like a plaid. And so I have just added one of those scallop border pieces to the back of that, adhering it down. And then here is where, remember those little pennants up at the top? I'm taking that same pattern paper as well as some peach cardstock. Now, believe it or not, this Crisp Air does have a little bit of peach in there. Those will be adhered up at the top right to add some separation and just a little bit of bling around that scalloped border. I am taking some of our shimmer trim and I'm going to trim it down to 1/4 inch. Since this was an afterthought, I don't want the full 1/2 inch width on there. So I'm leaving the backing on the majority of this and just exposing the tape part at the top and the bottom. So it'll be secured to my cutter and then cutting at 1/4 inch. Now this will dull your blade a little bit. So you want to make sure that you either have a specified blade for that or you just have extras on hand. Here is where I am just adding that tiny little bit in between that pattern paper and that scalloped border. And I think it's the perfect touch. So here is me looking through some of the PML cards. Now, PML cards is Close to My Heart's version of pocket scrapbooking, but you guys know that I use it really for traditional layouts as well as cards. They come in 4x6 and 3x4 sizes, and then one side is the portrait version and the other side is the landscape version. So very versatile for anything you want to use it for. So I pulled out some that I like. I'm going to go ahead and get my photos kind of roughed right where they're going to go. And that way I can tell which PML card I'm going to use. I am going to try out just a couple of these cards, mainly keeping up by the right little space by the photos and then off to the side. The sketch had another little shape right there, so I'm definitely going to try to use one of the PML cards. I am going to take one of these in the 4x6 and go ahead and cut out the pennants. The pennants that I already cut out of that pattern paper and that cardstock just weren't doing it for me. But of course, this one has these cute little ones and all different pattern paper. And so I thought that those would be perfect. Now back to the sticker sheet and then the PML cards. That little Harvesting Memories is going to be really cute title for this card. This layout. And then, of course, that little top right part. So I'm going to try out a couple of PML cards, a small one, and then I'm going to bring in a 4x6 one and then try to, see if maybe it goes over into past those little scallops, if it would look good. In the end, I decide no PML card. And then I really love this one, mainly because of the title, but also because it has a lot of white space. So I did mat that on some pine cardstock, and then I'm just going to tuck that underneath those scallops. I will embellish that later with some stickers and some of the crisp air dots. My photo already laid down is tape adhesive, and then that one, of course, you saw me taking off the backing from the 3D foam tape, and then I added some of those exclusive die cuts, and then, of course, bringing out the sticker sheet. So from here on out, I'm just going to try out several little stickers and adhere them here and there. Again, a combination of the florals and the titles. And then there are these gorgeous little florals that I wanted to use, but just didn't work. So on these exclusive die cuts, like I usually do with leaves, I'm using the 3D foam tape on the end and then liquid adhesive on the bottom, and then that way it's really dimensional because those bottom leaves actually stick directly to the layout, and then toward the end of the leaves you have the 3D foam tape. For my title, I'm pulling out the wood grain alphabet. Now this is like chipboard, and I am using just the title OKC, and I'm going to apply liquid adhesive to the back of those. I'm starting with the K because I want this centered. So I've centered the K onto that Harvesting Memories sticker, and then filling in with the O and the C. And then I will add some crisp air dots to each side of that. Now, what I love about the crisp air dots, if you didn't watch my last video, was that there's just so many, not only different colors of these, but so many different shapes and different sizes. Now these are actually still available, so I'll leave them linked down below. So next I'm going to add some white gel pen to these exclusive die cuts. Just kind of add some pop, and then of course just kind of make some stand up off of that background paper that they're adhered to. I am going to try to find another place for another one, but in the end, it just doesn't work. And actually, even though there's only one place where these are found, it doesn't look that bad. So there are several little tag pieces on the sticker sheet. So I'm going to put a couple of tags coming off the left side of that bottom photo. And then I am going to pull out some yellow baker's twine from my stash, and then just simply tie a couple of knots through those holes. And then just like I usually do at the very end, I will actually add micro glue dots to glue those in place. So I'm going to trim this up and then get a second one added to that bottom tag. Now that bottom tag is probably where I'm going to put my date for this. And then that top tag is just going to be a landing place for another one of the crisp air dots. I'm going to pull those dots back out. I am going to put a brown, and this isn't just like a normal brown. It's almost like sparkly, pretty brown. I don't know how to explain it. I'm going to put that on the tag, and then I am going to take off the sapphire dots that I put on each side of OKC. And I'm actually going to put some Sundance hearts on each side. And I think it looks a lot better, and it brings out the Sundance from that frame around the layout. And I'm just being lazy and don't want to pull out my T-ruler, so I'm just using my paper piercer to make sure that those are straight. Looks good enough for me, so I am going to finish off the dots here and there, and then we can take a look at this finished layout. Here are those close-ups. Again, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. If you liked what you saw, leave me a comment and a thumbs up. And if you aren't already a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and sign up for notifications so you won't miss another crafty video. Don't forget all the links down below you can order products from or something similar. And if you aren't in a position to order those products, I also have Super Thanks, where you can leave me a small monetary gift to let me know you were inspired. Thanks, and have a wonderful week.